Hello everybody, welcome back. I am TheChornick. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're actually going to do a top 5 video, and this is going to be a series throughout the summer. So, ladies and gentlemen, please post in the comment section below also any other top 5s you'd like me to do. Today, we're going to talk about the original series, the top 5 best episodes. Okay, now these are my personal top 5. Alright, and you guys could post your top 5 episodes in the comment section below as well, if you agree with the ones I choose, or the ones I chose, I mean, and, or if you chose other ones, you know, you could put that in the comment section below, explain why, or maybe the ones I like, you may have your own opinions on them. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, now let's begin, okay, and these are not in any particular order, so these just all meant something to me, these episodes, personally, since these were from my childhood. So, going back to my childhood, this is kind of how I reacted to them, how they kind of affected me, you know. So, original series is pretty important to me because that was my nostalgia, that was, you know, my history, right? So, the first episode on this list is obviously the first episode ever of Pokemon, where Ash actually got Pikachu. And what was unique about this episode, not only was it the first ever in this huge, like, franchise of episodes, but Ash got Pikachu, right? And it was, their bond wasn't, you know, spot on awesome from the very beginning. Like, Pikachu hated him initially, and I loved this episode because, like, it shows that, you know, they initially hated each other, but then they eventually adored each other by the end of the episode. And it just, so much happened, transpired. There's a Pokemon that wasn't even showcased yet. Ash was beginning his journey. We didn't know where he was going, you know, he was going, trying to drag Pikachu along. How is he going to get a Pokemon? How is he going to catch? Where is he going to go? Why is all these Spearows attacking him and stuff? And it was just, it was crazy. And the momentous moment where Ash and Pikachu actually finally bonded, with him sending a lightning bolt up in the sky and everything, that's what, like, really capped it, and I think really brought me into the series, because I was like, whoa, look at all this stuff that's going on. Of course, the games also affected me in bringing me into the show, but that was pretty momentous for me. So the first episode, I think, for everybody, has to be on their list. For the next one is Meowth. Go West, Young Meowth. Now, this episode, there was a lot of great episodes in this series, and even Team Rocket episodes, such as the one with Growlithe, with Team James. I don't know why I was thinking Jesse. James, with the whole, like, marriage thing. But this episode was probably the best Team Rocket one, mainly because it really went into the backstory of Meowth, and why Meowth learned to talk. I mean, James was originally rich, but he left that life because he didn't want it, you know. Meowth pretty much learned to talk, and we learned from the very beginning that Meowth can talk, and we didn't know why for, like, the longest time, and finally they gave backstory to him, had this whole, like, love story about how he fell in love with this previous Meowth, but it ended up not liking him, and it ended up breaking him, and it was really sad. And it's like the first time you really got to feel for Team Rocket, or specifically Meowth. And so this moment for me, like, I just felt bad for him, and it was like that moment you get to, like, understand why he's talking, because he's one of the few Pokemon that can actually talk. So it was pretty huge. So that episode is on my list. Next one is the Electric Shock Showdown episode. This, out of all the series, all the gym battles, most of them were just given to Ash. I mean, most of the badges, he didn't actually full-on fight the enemy. I mean, maybe partially, but it was assisted or it was just given to him. And so this episode, though, was actually a full-on fight, and it had a moral behind it, too. It actually had Pikachu refusing to evolve, refusing to change. It's going to take on the challenge as it is. You know, it's not going to change who it is in order to win. You know, it's gonna beat Raichu, you know, by itself, by the way it is. It's not gonna change for anybody or do anything in order to win. Like, it's not gonna do that. And to me, back then, when I was a kid, like, that was a huge, like, lesson to be learned and stuff. Sure, the Charizard battle with Magmar was momentous and everything, but that was just kind of show, you know? Like, it was just, like, such a brutal, like, big guy versus big guy. This episode was a little bit, had a moral behind it, and that's why I had to say this episode was better than that one, mainly because it just showed Pikachu's development, and how it kind of really affected me with the fact that it was refusing to change itself. It's gonna win the way it is, you know, it's not gonna change and stuff. So I thought that was pretty huge back then. The next episode is Showdown at Dark City. This episode for me, is probably one of my favorites in regards to just comedy. Pikachu and the ketchup. This is where the Pikachu and the ketchup, Pikachu in love with the ketchup thing came from. Pikachu being in love with it. And that moment, I always remember that forever. Like, Pikachu being in love with it, and Scyther cutting it, and Pikachu, like, crying, bawling his eyes out. There's also a moment where, like, Ash, Misty, and Brock were all changing their names so that the rest of the town didn't know who they actually were. So it was, like, Anchovy and, like, Caesar Salad, and Ash was, like, Ketchup or something. Or Tomato, I think is what it was later on. But I just thought that was hilarious that they all chose like food names and stuff. But that episode was probably one of the best like filler episodes, just because it was so comedic and I love it. And there's so much iconic stuff that came from that. And I always remember the nicknames and the Pikachu loving on his ketchup stuff. That ship, that's the true ship. I know there's the Tokidamaru recently is happening, but Pikachu's in love with his ketchup. Doggone it, you know. I really want to see more of those moments. And then the final episode, ladies and gentlemen, we had Pikachu's goodbye. Now, this episode, to me, is better than the other goodbyes of the series, like even Butterfree's, because Butterfree's one, yeah, made me tear up, but Pikachu's goodbye, like, when I was a kid, that made me bawl. Like, I was like, why are you getting rid of your best Pokemon, of the Pokemon that you started with? And that really, really affected me when I was a kid. And, like, when I saw, like, Ash just running away, willing to release his starter, releasing the Pokemon that he started with, his first ever, his closest bond friend, just for its happiness. Like, it really showcased Ash's character, and it just, I thought that was the first time I was like, Ash, you're a doggone idiot, like, what are you doing? Like, I was bawling my eyes out and stuff when I was a kid. But that really affected me, that episode, more than any other goodbye. The fact that that almost happened. Pikachu could have been released back then. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was my top 5 most favorite and best episodes of the original series of Pokemon. So if you guys have your top 5, please post them in the comment section below. If you agree with my list somewhat, if you have some other opinions, some other great episodes, because I know there's a lot of great episodes. This was hard to do because of all the episodes I had to pick. I mean, I was like trying to skim it down to the top 5, the ones that affected me the most, I believe, from my childhood. So this was pretty big. Post in the comment section below all your thoughts and feelings and stuff, and if there's any top 5s you want me to do, again, I might make this a series and have like top 5 of every single series for you guys, so keep watching for that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching though. Peace off! Thank you very much.